Hi, this is Shirley Lee with ECD 131 Language Arts. This is week four's lesson, and it's on South Carolina Standards, South Carolina Early Learning Standards. Sorry about that. The goal of the South Carolina Early Standard is to promote the growth and education of early children in South Carolina through a set of standards and guidelines. And these standards describes what children at different ages and stages of development often can do and cannot do at the end of a period. Example of that is a child by the age of 7 months should be crawling by the end of 7 months. And those are the goals that is set forth for, say, a 7 month old. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is go ahead and answer these questions that's on the list. So the first one is, how do you feel about the four areas of literacy in SCELS? Is it appropriate or not? Too much or too little? And then I will discuss how South Carolina compared to the other state I researched, which that state is Georgia. I did the research on Georgia. All right, so I'm going to do that, and then I'll come back and answer the other questions. Okay, so how do I feel about it? I feel that the area of literacy in South Carolina early learning standards, I feel that it is appropriate for the children because we got to have goals and guidelines for the children to meet. And if not, then we don't know if they're mentally or physically developing like they should if ain't no goal set forth. So I believe it is appropriate, and definitely it's not too much because we all got goals, even as younger, older people. We have goals that we strive to reach by a certain time, like 65. We strive to retire at a certain age, so we all. And So definitely it's not too much. So I do believe that it lays the foundation for a child's lifelong learning ability. Having a child knowing how to communicate efficiently, having the reading and writing fundamentals help with communication skills, help the child to communicate efficiently if they can read and write. And how do it support the dual learners, supporting the dual learners? I believe that it it definitely benefits the other students in the class by having dual learners in the class. The other kids benefit as well because they have the opportunity to experience different language and culture from the other children in the class that normally they might not have the opportunity to be exposed to the different language without having dual learners in the class. Okay, so those questions were answered. So now the next question is, are the standard evident in classroom you have visited? Well, at this point in my ECD learning opportunity, I have not had an opportunity to visit any other classes yet. I haven't got to that section of my studies yet, so I can't comfortably answer that question. So, do I feel that the standards motivate teachers in incorporating literacy to all ages? And my answer to that is yes, it does benefit because it helped the educators, teachers, as well as the parents to track the children's progress. So it is necessary so they can make the necessary adjustments that will help the students to reach their developmental goal. So if it is something going on, if a child is delaying reading, they have the ability to have reading sessions with a therapist or whatever the case may be, whatever the delay may be. Okay, so that answered that question. So the next one, it says to pick one age group and discuss how we would incorporate all four areas of learning. Then we have the communication, reading foundation, writing, and supporting the dual learners. Okay, so pick one and incorporate. Okay, so I am going to. So mine is 4 years old because most of the kids I work with here at the home daycare is 4 years old. Okay, so I did the 4 year old. So how I would incorporate reading. I'm sorry, communication. I would encourage active listening and speaking. I would, as far as like in sorry, I'm lost for words. In conversation, I would allow them to express their thoughts and ideas. And even in reading, while even talking, I would introduce new words to the children that would, in conversation, and I would have different like activities that would bring in different words, new words, like flashcards. We use flashcards so that they can pick up on new words. So that's how I would incorporate it in class and communication. So reading, I would do reading aloud at story time. At our story time sessions, I would read out aloud, exposing the children to new books, appropriated age appropriated books. Letter recognition, introducing new letters in games that we play so they can recognize the letters of the alphabet through games and activities so they can identify letters and associate it with new words. The foundation of writing, I would, in activities, we would do drawing. We have the kids to do drawing. We practice tracing letters, coloring. So we trace the letters. This is teaching them how to write their names. So also they would have letter recognitions. So eventually they'll know the letters in their name and they'll be able to spell their names. Next one is writing again. It helps build the fine motor skills using the crayons and the pencils. So, and then just letting them find opportunity just to express themselves with writing and drawing. You'd be amazed in some of the things that the kids draw, and they tell you that it is. You can't see it, but they really have creative thinking. So that would be the writing just to help build up the fine motor skills. And then with supporting the dual learners, language learners, we'll offer books with songs and material, but we'll make sure that it's in both languages so that they can hear it in their own language as well as in the English language as well. And that will help them build up their literacy skill also. And like I said again, the other children would benefit from that as well when you have dual learners in the class. Okay. So and whatever we do, we just want to make sure that the children is engaged and all the activities that we use, the games and the puzzles, and even with the hands-on experience to make learning fun and engaging for the kids, for the children. So that's how I would incorporate these strategies, and hope that the children would develop a love for reading and writing as they embark on their educational journey. Okay. So the last piece that I have, I don't want to make this too long, but I'm trying to get everything in. The last piece is I have compared South Carolina early learning standards to Georgia's. So with that, both South Carolina and Georgia had developed a guide, and both of them is geared to, you know, be able to support the children, that they should be able to, at different stages in their development, be able to communicate well. So both of the standards are basically the same. So with the first one, with communication, South Carolina, they more geared to including language development, reading readiness, and the awareness of early writing skill. Compared to Georgia, they have a wide range of literacy skill, listening and speaking, and Emirate reading and early writing. So I looked at the Emirate reading, and it's basically like storytelling and rhyming to support the children to help them read. And then the next one is the the alignment with the national standards. Both states aim to align their early learning standards with the early childhood education that ensures the expectation of the young children is being met. And both of them are based on play-based learning as well. And the age ranges, South Carolina actually typically organized into age group with specific expectation for infants, toddlers, preschoolers, and kindergartens. So Georgia standards are similar, organized by age groups, specifying development expectation for children at different stages as well. So these are the comparison. And again, the national standards, both state aim to, again, make sure that we have a play-based learning, emphasizing the appropriate practice on learning standards, the importance of hands-on learning for young children. And then we have the assessment process, the monitoring. Both states incorporate assessment and process monitoring to ensure that the children are meeting their developmental milestone outlined in both of the standards. So again, this helps both of the parents and the teachers to track the progress and make necessary adjustment to support their development. Individualization, both states emphasize the importance of individualizing education instruction to meet the needs of each child. This recognizes that the children do develop different rates and at different stages, based on their abilities. Some 7 months old crawl, some don't. But it doesn't mean that it's something definitely wrong with a 7 months old, that because they're not crawling, some children just develop more. You know, they develop their muscles more, their strength quicker. So just that South Carolina and Georgia, they also emphasize on requirements between the two states, different requirement, but most of all, they're geared to support development of the young children, just to make sure that they're meeting their developmental goal. So with that, they do have that in common. So this concludes my week 4 assignment. Thank you. And I didn't mean to make it so long.